Like quesadilla, right?
Right, like quesadilla.
Quesadilla. Well, you guys are awesome. Sunday Global Coaching Call. Had a great couple of weeks. Trevor, I want you guys to introduce yourself. We'll go Trevor first because I know you.
Sure. So I'm the founder of Hearts and Minds and the Focus 5 app, and really kind of the visionary behind everything that we're trying to do. And I love watching how you're taking the global coaching call. We started this actually 5 years ago when we first were beta testing the app and figured out what works, what doesn't work. And what we did and decided was like, okay, well, when we relaunch the app and we kick it into high gear, what we're going to be doing is I need to be focused more on other things. So anyway, I love the work that you're doing and love some of the feedback that we've been getting offline too of the guests that you've had.
It's definitely fun.
Certainly has been.
Hello, I am the head softball coach at Northwest Missouri State in Maryville, Missouri, which is in the very tippy top corner of the state. I've been here going on year 5, and my lifelong dream was to be a head coach at some capacity, and so I get to live that out. Very thankful that Trevor and I's paths crossed. I think this generation of athlete really needs something different than what we've had in the past, and so I'm really looking forward to what the future holds.
What is your playing background?
What is my I have an issue with decorating. So there's a clock, there's a sign, and that's it. I've been in this house for a year. My office is the exact same. I just cannot commit to putting things up on a wall.
Okay. No, that your sports playing background.
Oh, my playing. I thought literally was like, what is in the background? I'm like, playing background. I thought you said playing background. Lord have mercy. Oh, playing background. Okay. I played travel ball for the majority of everything. Once I got done with that, I went off to the University of New Mexico. Spent my first 2 years there. After my sophomore year, I just realized that I needed something different, something more for my playing career. So I transferred to DePaul University in Chicago and finished out my career there.
Trevor, you played some sports, didn't you? Played some baseball.
Yeah, I played college baseball actually at Northwest Missouri State, where Coach Naomi is head coach at. So, yeah, it's when paths reconnected. To me, it was a opportunity to be able to get back to a place that helped really launch my career and also launch the passion that I have for people. So, yeah, I played 3 years, 3 years as starting outfielder, and then ended up whole nother side segment conversation that we need to have some other time. But I gave up my last year of eligibility because I was at a stage of my career where I was burned out. I was ready to be done. So anyway, that's also the deeper passion that I have for working with athletes too, is that career transition phase. So
I feel like we all, since I've been able to talk to you guys, Trevor, now for a couple of years, and it's been a few months now, like we're all here for the same goal of, the mental part, creating a culture, especially for you coaching softball in the locker room. We've all kind of seen the ups and downs of sports. I know my reasoning really for coaching, I like baseball. I think baseball's great. It's cool. But I know that my biggest passion has been to help to keep kids and their parents to not go down some of the avenues that may not help us succeed in that sport and or in regular life. So I'm very happy to have you on here, Miss Naomi, and I think we'll be seeing you pretty soon. We have this awesome stretch initiative coming. I'm actually very excited. So for you guys who are listening, we posted some videos about the stress initiative, getting a lot of, it's called hype, getting a lot of hype on it. And I'm really excited to come out there.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. We're excited to really just branch this out. Like, yes, I give lessons to, some local towns, some local kids. And to me, there's so much more that goes into building a young athlete. I tell everybody we're going to sit here and we're going to pay for hitting. We're going to pay for pitching and defense and all that strength and conditioning. But how much are you willing to put in the time and effort to train your mind? And it's so powerful. And I think, the majority of them come to me, yes, for that, but a lot of the other thing is just like our mental side of it, what we can control, what, we need to focus on rather than just saying, let's go play and figure it out. So I'm excited to have somebody echo that.
Yeah. I think the hardest part about what we do, I won't even say what I do, what we do is that, I'm fortunate enough to have 7-year-olds to even some pro guys. And that, especially in the younger groups, like it's never really the physical part where they struggle, because you have people that come into the cage and they kill it. Like, man, I got it figured out. And they go in the game and they piece up. And it could be, especially with what I do, a lot of times it's the ride to and from the park. It can be the coach sometimes. A lot of times it's not. But there's always some disconnect somewhere. And it's a lot of times we put up our brain goes into defense mode while we're playing, defensively and offensively. And really, I think we had a kid this morning, actually, I told him, I'm like, you got to turn your defense off. I said, there's nothing that's going to hurt you out here. She was actually a softball player, and ended up really being her best lesson, because she was able to separate like what she was feeling, her tightness, her shoulders, and kind of be in a defensive mode to just letting it go and letting it fly. And it was a good time, but I don't, you have to kind of teach that to some people. Everybody's just going out there to compete all the time.
Right. Do you think that some of that defense mechanism, though, is the fear of failing? Like they're scared to be something different?
I think it's fear of failing or fear of disappointing somebody they care about.
Yep.
I think a lot of times it's more of that than anything. I'm learning in the area that I live in here is that a lot of parents kind of equate their ego to their kids' performance. Mm-hmm. So it's like, and one thing I do I hate sarcasm, because unless you and your kids kind of have that, back and forth, but sitting in the cage, nice swing, things like that probably doesn't help. But I know that, like I said, in our area, it's a lot of these things are social events. We want to be cool. We want to see our kids on varsity. We want to see our kids playing on the top team. We want to be able to post things on Facebook. And I think that's where we as parents a lot of times have to separate ourselves from our kids. I don't mind seeing my kids struggle. It sucks to watch, but I'm kind of one of those parents also. When I was watching my kids, I was just like, man, that sucks, bro. But, go figure it out. Because I know that failure is what's going to help you at some point succeed, as long as you're working on it.
Right. Yeah. And I also think it's hard, especially when they jump from the high school travel ball level to then the collegiate level, is now we don't have mom or dad in our ear. And now we're trying to find ourselves. Who are we playing for? Who is it? Our teammates? Is it ourselves? Is it somebody else? And trying to find that little bit of guidance in the collegiate realm is something that I always see the freshmen struggle with coming in right away.
I don't think that we do, and I know I've been echoing this a lot over the past couple of years, because I've seen a lot of guys. We have an organization here that's pretty popular, I would say. But I've seen a lot of guys, I would say, that were good players that go to college and come back and they play like 1 year and they're done, because nobody's really prepared them to actually be out there in the real world. Or like when you go to college, it's not like I play pro ball, right? And we go to pro ball, and really it's all development. It's go there, play a couple years, we'll develop you, try to develop you, put you through whatever. You play these seasons, hope you pan out. If not, you go home. Mm-hmm. College, you're coming there to win. Mm-hmm. You're not really coming there to say, hey, we're going to make you do this, 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 and this. You're coming there to win. And a lot of guys that I've seen are there, they'll call me and text me and say, like, man, this coach is not doing this for me. He's not doing this for me. And I'm like, that's not their job. Their job is to give you a place to play, manage the game, whatever they're doing. Hopefully when you're getting down, maybe give you some confidence builders. But in college, it's kind of cutthroat at times.
Right. Well, and I also think too, like some of my athletes and, ones of the past have said, I want to feel good. And mm-hmm. I struggle as a coach to say yes, but at the same time, I have to challenge you. I have to make you better. And I can't always just sit here and say, yep, let's just feel good today.
I hate that saying. Go ahead, Trevor.
I know.
How many times? All right, so you just mentioned this, and I catch this with every sport we work with. Here, let me lower my hand. See, I was being polite. How many times, if I had a quarter, every time I heard an athlete say, man, I want to feel good when I go and compete. I have to feel good. And then we have that conversation. But then when I go out to practice, I go out to training, like it or not, us as coaches and the coaches that are out there, whether we realize it or not, our words have tremendous power and influence over that. And whether we realize it or not, we are reinforcing that. For example, you take 2 swings off the tee and you step back and say, hey, how'd that feel? So what happens to the athlete? They subconsciously start to believe, okay, I have to feel good on this swing. Okay, this has to feel good. Okay, my timing has to feel good. And it's like, wait. When you play at your absolute best, are you always really focused on feeling good? No, not really. It's like timing. It's like getting your hands through the ball. It's the most simple, basic things. And I could go sport by sport by sport. And no matter what sport that we're talking with, it's always coming back to like, I love that you mentioned it. Oh, I have to feel good. Oh, there's more to it than that.
I can't stand that because, and especially when it becomes like the high school level, the younger ones sometimes are pretty good because they don't really have. They're like, I don't know what to feel sometimes. Right. But I had a conversation last week with a kid. I go, he's like, well, that felt good. I'm like, this feels better than that. I go, you don't even really know what a good swing feels like. I go, and so when I say, how does that feel? It's more or less me trying to get them to be physically aware of what their body's doing, right? Like, or if we have some kind of word association with what their hands or legs or core or whatever is doing, it's like, okay, did you feel this? This is what I'm seeing. Do you feel what I'm saying? Or that's actually pretty cool. But do you feel what I'm saying? Like with your back foot or whatever's going on versus like, does it feel good? Because I'm like, I want them to get as uncomfortable as they can. I may over-exaggerate a big move. We might start our hands here to find this, vice versa. That way, if they can feel the bad move or it feels like crap, it's usually something they can repeat because they know how that feels bad. And so once you kind of find that, then you can find a happy medium. But that need to feel good is what's destroying a lot of players, especially guys who are listening, because most of you guys don't really know what it takes, what a great swing feels like until you've repeated the same thing. What kind of dog is that?
Gosh, hey!
I'm not mad at it. He can come hang out if you want.
No, this thing never says anything.
But well, that's because we're here. It's because Trevor has wired headphones.
Right.
No, like so that's one thing it does drive me nuts. And like, so I would say for you guys that are listening, especially baseball players, but any sport, but like trying to get that mind-body connection with. To kind of know when something feels off, so you can kind of feel the good move versus the bad move, or having word associations that maybe are just specific to what you're trying to do. But, it's like eating a bunch of pizza. It tastes really good. It's awesome. But at some point, probably not going to be good for you at some point.
Well, and I also, for me as a hitter, once I took my feelings away from what was really happening is when I realized that no swing's going to feel the same. Mm-hmm. I'm never going to have the perfect swing on a perfect pitch in a game. I just have to figure it out. And I always try to, echo that of like, I feel like, well, I don't want you to feel that. Use a different word.
Yeah. I don't know. Go ahead.
So one of the all-time OGs of sports psychology is a guy named Dr. Ken Ravizza, passed away years ago. But Ravizza famously has clips, and I'm sure we could cut it up and we can find it and clip it in exactly. Ravizza's sitting in a batting cage, and he famously says, "You're not always going to feel good, but you can always compete hard. You're not always going to feel your fastball, but you can throw strikes. You're not always going to feel at your best because your stomach hurts from any reason, but what you can do is you can have the best attitude and be the best teammate you possibly can." And the way he kind of surmised it is you're only going to feel at your best, i.e. be in the zone about 15% of your career. So what's that mean? 85% of your career is left feeling, ugh. He puts it in colorful language. You're going to have to eat a crap sandwich. Okay. But the reality is like this, you have to go out every single day. You have to compete. You have to train with the best attitude you can, with the best effort you can. And feeling comes. It's like especially when we're working with athletes on the large scale. Cory, I know you heard me say this up at the Iowa event we did. Your choices have to lead everything you do. Your feelings have to go in behind you. And what happens a lot, athletes will lead the other way around. And then they wonder, well, how come I'm struggling so much? It's like, well, you're feeding the wrong thing first.
I think that's regular life in general. I think too many of us make terrible decisions because of how we feel at the moment versus maybe doing what's right for the long run. I was watching the World Series, shout out to the Dodgers, which the Blue Jays would have won, but I was watching George Springer and kind of what we're talking about. And this guy's all over the place, hurt and struggling. And he's just competing. Like, then he had 3 or 4 hits last night, a couple hits the other night before, and haven't been in that position of being in pain and trying to just make it through the game. A lot of times that pain is what kind of keeps you from focusing on the task at hand. Like, it's like when you see like Michael Jordan had the flu game and some of these guys had the flu or got sick or something and they go out there and dominate. But I never did like feeling too good before the game. I felt like there wasn't something wrong. I had to focus on just actually playing baseball. So I asked the coach to take me out the game one time because I just felt too good that day. And I was damn sure I was 0 for 5, but it was a terrible day. Like the day before I was killing it. And I was like, yeah, coach, something's not right here. I said, I feel way too good. I said, it just may not be the right thing for you to do. He's like, man, we're getting to the playoffs. We need you. I'm like, no, you don't. Not today. Sure enough, it was not it. But it is about competing. It is about going out there, putting whatever emotions you have or feelings you have to the side sometimes, and especially the team sport like softball or baseball, and kind of feeding off that energy. Everything has to be competing. It has to be go out there, beat the pitcher, beat the batter, play defense, block it all, whatever negativity you can, and just go compete.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Miss Naomi.
Cory takes a well-timed drink there.
I have to take a well-timed drink. I'm drinking right now. I've been screaming at an SMU game. I'm telling you, it was one of the greatest. It was the greatest football game I've ever seen. I don't know. I don't watch a lot of sports, which is weird, but I don't. But my cousin used to play for SMU. He ended up going to the NFL, playing with the Chargers and the Titans. My father played football, and but we've been trying to link up for the longest to go to this game. And so I was like, man, SMU Miami, that sounds like a pretty good game. Maybe Michael Irvin will be there. And he was. And long other story. But it was a great game. Watch these guys come back. Watch the crowd tear down the field goal. And it was awesome. But I got to see my cousin. And Michael Irvin showed up with a ice pack and a knee brace on. Not really sure why. But so for you guys that play, since we all play ball, I'll ask you first, Naomi, what is something that you would say that you had a period of time where you lost some confidence and maybe what helped you get it back? And maybe with your players too, like when you see a player that maybe should be performing better, but you can kind of see it on their face, they're maybe slumped over, something's not clicking.
Right. I think the biggest thing for me was my freshman year. I went off to college and didn't know what to expect. They tore down my swing to essentially nothing. I didn't have a ton of success in the fall. At the time, I was recruited as a catcher, but then they had me playing third all fall. The young lady that was supposed to be the starting catcher in the spring left mid-semester. So then they said, okay, you haven't worked with any of these pitchers, but go get them. And my world was spinning. Starting out, we were playing ASU after the year that they won the national championship game. I was in the 4-hole under the lights opening game. I vomited. I could not gather myself. No idea. Went over 3 with 3 strikeouts. Awful, not great. But that was just the epitome of my freshman year. I had to gain a swing back. I had to essentially catch almost 56 games. My body was beaten up and I just couldn't get myself to a point of this feels great. This is awesome. And so about midway through my freshman year, I literally I froze. There were times in the box where I just could not swing. I couldn't do it. And we were fortunate enough to have a sports psychologist in our building of athletics at New Mexico. So I went with her and she was like, okay, we got to get somewhere. We have to get somewhere. What is comforting to you? What is not comforting? And my travel ball coach at the time, he was in my ear constantly in the best way possible. His cues, his triggers. And she told me, you need to call him the week before the game or the week of the game. And whatever he says to you, put it on a note card. simple words. So I put it in a note card and I put it in my back pocket. Before I went on deck, I would read those words, whatever they were, and they were so simple. And I would just hear his voice in my head go up. And so the later half of my freshman year, I figured it out. I mean, still was not great, but I figured it out and I was more confident in that. And so, something that I have found is just going to what has worked in the past, what is comfortable for them, and where they have found success. So for me, it was writing something down and repeating it over and over again to myself. For some of these athletes, it's breaking down their swing or getting in a cage one-on-one with them. I think that is the biggest thing is, team hitting for us sucks. I don't like it. I don't get to really dive in, but really getting in a cage session with them and saying, okay, let's take a moment and let's talk through this and get them to a point where it's a conversation to help get them to where they need to be. I always told them, like, I'm going to be your biggest cheerleader because you are probably your biggest critic. And so I am going to build you up to the best of my abilities. Tell me what you need from me and how we can go there. And some of them, game day, I'm throwing at 7 a.m. when we play at 10 because that's what they need. Whatever they need, I'm there. And I think, it's not easy. It's not fun. Puts a lot more on me, but I was once them and felt that uneasiness or, oh my gosh, here we go. I'm going to go get out again type feeling.
I watch a lot of high school ball or hear a lot of horror stories. And I think what you're doing is awesome because there's not enough, I would say, intimate coaching within the team and the coaches and players. Like high school, a lot of times you're going out there, you take him, you take it after you take batting practice on the field, and then it's kind of like, all right, go get him for the game. Mm-hmm. When I was coaching a lot, we get there an hour or something before the game, and everybody has their Cory time, I would say. We do our thing, we talk about it, talk about possibly what the goal for you is that day. It could be, this is what you're doing today, so you might want to think this. Just some form of plan or objective other than go out there and get a hit. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes we get these kids are focusing up too much on the result versus maybe like set smaller goals to maybe get a better result. Like it could just be take your direction over second base or shortstop, or this guy's throwing two seamers or rise balls or something. Okay, I got to eliminate the rise ball, and that just it gives them something positive to think about. Plus, you're developing that positive self-talk with them. Just give them something to kind of even mentally talk to them about.
Well, and I mean, hitting can be so challenging in itself, and that's, we cannot control the outcome of that. And so when we simplify it, did I swing at a good pitch? Was I on time? Nothing else matters. And it's really hard when you go 0 for the day and you maybe had 2 really good at bats, but as much as you want them to succeed and do all that, like, it's harder for us to say that was a great day and for them to actually believe it.
And that's where I think for me with the younger guys, for sure, because their whole joy is I have to get a hit, and their parents' whole joy is little Johnny or little Miss Sarah didn't get a hit. And I'm like, yeah, but they hit 3 balls hard. Or if they're even not as skilled, like they actually loaded up 4 times today. They were ready to hit. And I'm like, those are small steps to get you where you're trying to go, but it can't go from session in the cage to Mickey Mantle or, Jenny Finch on the mound or Natasha Watley at shortstop. It doesn't work that way. And I think that's where some of us as parents miss the boat. Like they want that, go out there and get 3 or 4 hits, but man, sometimes it might just be, is he or she even ready to hit that day? Did they get low ready? So like those little small increments of preparation and I mean, for you guys that are here that are listening to coaching, like learn to have like a positive at bat chart. Mm-hmm. Like give them something to strive for where it's like, it's always positive, but that is a positive bat. That is a hard hit ball. That is a 5 for 6 pitch at bat. That is maybe what you've been struggling with last week and then struggle this week. That way, everything is kind of somewhat positive or enduring, but it's still convicting as, to you as a player.
Right. And I think the other thing too is like, yes, I care about how you get on base, but at the end of the day, I really don't care how you get on base. Like we are very candy-driven team. So
Hey, are
every
you training your
praise,
kids to get hit by softballs?
yes, like we praise that. Please get hit. Like draw your walks, get hit. I don't care how you get on. I need you on.
Yeah.
And so for us, like every time you get on, you get some sort of gummy of some sort. Last year it was unicorns, and I don't know what it's going to be this year, but like it's
unicorns.
It's little gummy unicorns. Hy-Vee has them. They're so yummy. But we have
caffeine unicorns.
No, there's no caffeine, just sugar.
Oh, those aren't real unicorns then.
But just reinforcing that get on by all means necessary, right? Like we got to do what we got to do, and it's silly and it's goofy, but they will do a lot for a unicorn.
It's like more as, and I don't know. When I was a few years ago, I think it was like 2006. It was with Kansas City, and again, like it was just a BS award that we had, but it was between the team, and so what we had, can't tell you what it was. What we had was, if you were the player of the game, you got this award, you signed your name on it, and then like the next day you would watch the game to see who you're going to give it to. It could be the pitcher for pitching, good, or a hitter for doing whatever. But then you had to kind of give a speech. It could be a 1 minute. Some guys made it extravagant because it was funny. You had the other guys that were kind of more introverts, but it was always fun, and guys looked forward to it, even though that award meant nothing. And I don't think a lot of these coaches, and I get calls all the time, how do you guys run practice? I'm like, I try to create a game within a game. I don't really want you focusing that much out there, because I just need you to go compete. Like, and again, baseball for sure, because it is as a team sport, but as a hitter, my focus isn't like I got to get a hit. My focus is, okay, I'm thinking inside half the fastball, up the middle, react inside. That's my only thought. So that's all I really want to think about. But I know that going into the game, if I'm competing against the guys, when I have these young teams, I might have the whole team thinking like, okay, all the right-handers, who can hit the most balls over second base? And left will do this. But when you have these little awards that, like you said, they don't mean much, they don't cost a whole lot, those things are really sentimental to teams, because we will always compete against each other. We will. It's nothing, there's nothing back, coming up in the clubhouse and somebody walks in, who's getting the most hits today, And then all of a sudden, it becomes this little bickering match. Even though we're trying to win the game, it's still, I'm going to beat you, I'm going to beat you. And it becomes, number one, it builds team cohesiveness, but it builds more competitiveness. You're really not focusing that much on everything negative that can happen that's in front of you.
Right. When I always say, like, competition breeds success, right? Like we have to compete against each other. We have to compete every day. We do a lot of competitions within our hitting groups, just so then we're not focusing on our end result. It's a process of how we get there. And that, I think, is a lot easier to break down, especially for the younger athletes, and you're throwing front toss to them. It's how many times can you hit the screen, and you work on that. And they have no idea what they're doing, but they're finding success.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
Cory, I got a really great story for you. So 2011, I'm starting my coaching career, and I got asked to coach a high school team in the state of Iowa. I took it, and the start of the year, the guys set a goal, and this is baseball. And the guys set a goal. They said, well, we want to be a state team. Well, to give you an idea, this is how small the population of the town, the city is. I had a total of, I think, 15 boys that could possibly even qualify to be a baseball player based on the population and the size of the town. Okay, so people that are familiar with my story, my background, they're like, yeah, I know, I got it. But I fielded a team with 11 guys. One of them was an 8th grader. So in the state of Iowa, when you finish your school year, you're now get promoted, move up into the high school rank. Well, now you could actually letter as a five year in the state of Iowa. Anyway, interesting dynamic. So I fielded a team with 11 guys, and these guys, they're hell bent. They said, man, we want to make it to state. I'm like, okay, so let's write it up on the goals.
Yeah.
First game, we can't get out of the first inning. we just can't get out. I think they put up, I don't know, 18 runs on us, 19 runs. I mean, drop balls, ground balls. I mean, drop balls at first base. I mean, swing and miss, drop third strike. We overthrow it in right field. I mean, it's like, any way you can, chalk it up, right? Okay, so We go 3 games in, and we had got out, I guess, beat from a score standpoint of like 72 to maybe 2. It was rough.
What?
So on that bus ride home, right? Like, listen, I'm telling you, this is probably going to be one of my books. Okay, and the title of the book is going to be 3 and 15. I'm just telling you. One of my next books, because I mean, there's some amazing things that happen from this. But anyway, to nail the point here, we are driving back. We just got beat by a team 22-0. I'm sitting on the bus, and I'm just like pulling out every fiber of hair I have. Like, we got to change something. We get back to the field. Everybody unloads the bus, and I said, nobody is leaving here until we change some goals. We have to. We're not going to go into state is no longer a viable goal. Sorry, it's just not. So here's the conclusion. Those guys, what they did is, what you guys are talking about is, you're talking about developing process level goals, things that you can cheer for, things that can be measured based on effort, things that be measured based on camaraderie, cohesion. Okay, those things. So what we did is I created what was called the Sexy Club. Okay, so this is exactly what we did. We wanted to reward hard work, laying out for balls, making routine plays. If a guy catches a ball over his shoulder, we would take a vote inside the dugout. Is that a sexy play or not? Yep, sexy. Okay, so we actually had a stat counter in the dugout, and guys that would have a sexy play, they got a tally mark to their name, and that was a running tally board all year long. So when we finished the end of the year, and the parents didn't know, we kept it quiet. It's a team thing, you know. Well, at the end of the year, when you do your trophy presentation, buffet kind of dinner thing, talk about the team and stuff. So we did a T-shirt.
Uh-oh.
And we did it, and it was called the S Club. And it had the guys' like tallies on the back of like the plays that they did and what they did and stuff. It was amazing. So long story short, I'm talking with this coach from Georgia this year, and he's got this team, 12 and under team, and he's just talking about, how do I get these guys to put out hard? How do I get them to work hard? And I told him the S Club story. I kid you not, the next weekend he calls me back. He's like, Trev, we just went 8-0. We're on fire. And what you said is money. And I'm like, yep, add another tally, So it's like what you guys are talking about, when you can make that game fun, you reward the behavior that you want to see, and you catch them doing what you want. And that's the game within the game. That's where transformational coaching happens.
I love this part of the year normally, because this football, basketball things going on at the same time, so guys can't play many tournaments, so like they have double header leagues, and so like where I train it, I get to go watch teams sometimes, and they get to play, and they'll play a few games, and so I just kind of walk out to hear the coaches talk, and they'll ask me what I would say, and I'm like, probably nothing. Like, what do you mean? I'm like, let the guy go field. But I normally walk out to those fields and do something like you're talking about. I'll give them some form of in-game competition. It could just be, like I said, directional. It could be who can be the most aggressive, whatever it is, because it just, majority of these kids, and again, this generation is a lot different. Naomi, I think I'm younger than you, so I'm the youngest person here now, 21. So, this generation is different. They don't, like, when you deal with young kids, they don't know they're getting beat.
No.
Like an 8, they're like, the coaches are like, come on, guys, we're down by 1. They're like, 1 what? Like, they don't know. They don't, like, they're if it was a video game, different story. But they're just out here playing. Like, I have this, thing. I'm like, some guys are out here for something to do, and some guys are out here doing something. But most of the kids are out there for something to do. But when you can tap into that competitive nature between those friends and stuff, then it's a different story. And I mean, and this works with every sport. It's not just for you guys. It's not just baseball. It's everything. That's why football and college and stuff like that, they have those stickers on the back of the helmets. Right. They have those for whatever accolades you're trying to get. It could be hard hitting. It could be teammates, whatever. We had them in high school. But those things really matter. Even though they might not cost a whole lot, they may not ever help you in real life as far as, the sticker or whatever. But those things really help a team, especially with team cohesiveness. It's a distraction from all the pitfalls of failure that can happen out there.
Right. Yeah. When our pitchers last year we struggled in our first innings for whatever reason. We couldn't throw strikes, we couldn't make clean plays, and so if the other team went 3 up, 3 down in the first inning of every game, they got ice cream. And boy, did they come off yelling ice cream every time they did it. And so we had to pay up every time, but I will give them as much ice cream as they need.
I mean, I've watched players that make millions of dollars get excited about dimes and quarters because the pitcher, you come in and you throw a first pitch strike, whatever. The pitch coach is like, okay, you get a quarter. Whatever the system was,
Yep.
I'm like, I'm making $20 million a year, man. But it was just, it had nothing to do. I don't know what it is. I don't get it. It's like the inner kid that wants to compete.
Yep.
It's something about that. But it's, you know, I see so much especially with the young levels and even high school. I love winning games. I think we need to get back to kids not wanting to lose, but you have to train it somehow versus just get out in the field and just say, you got to go beat that team that you don't know and care about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's the tough part. But if you can kind of create something within, now you're teaching the kids how to compete for something they want. And then that'll transfer to like, oh, we just beat that team. Oh, this is why we beat that team. Kind of like with you, Trevor, that same thing. Like, and the goals have to be realistic. Like, that team didn't sound like they were that awesome, Trev. But
dude, we won 3 games, okay? And the district, okay, here's a really cool claim to fame. So these guys were athletes, right? We ended up setting a state record for stolen bases because we had a rule. You get on first base, I'm going to teach you all how to steal.
Yeah, you got
it. So in 2 pitches, you better be on third base. So anyway, because I was always a fast guy and I knew how to steal and how to execute and how to read, and we were moving. So like we manufactured, man, we even stole home. Like we manufactured how to win, how to compete. And that guy, I think, got 2 check marks on the S Club for stealing home that day because he damn near got taken out. So anyway, yeah, we didn't have a lot of talent, but like one of the things that whenever I do coaches conferences and coaches workshops and stuff, I'm always trying to preach the message and teach as well how to be a transformational coach versus transactional. The transformational coach is like pulling for the heart. It's pulling for how do you reach deeper than just superficially what you can give me? Because when you can get down a layer or 2 below that, those athletes are willing to put out so much more, and not just on game day. It's stretching, it's carrying equipment, it's picking up balls. Do they actually believe in you as the coach? Do they believe in the mission that you're doing? Do they believe in the culture that you've established? And when you can do that, you've reached the heart of those athletes. They're willing to work really hard for you. And it's not just that season. See, a lot of times coaches have this like locked in, like tunnel vision mindset of this season. This is what matters. And I say, man, take off the blinders. Like look 5 years in that kid's life. Where's that kid going to be? Mm-hmm. So that same team, by the way, Cory, that I mentioned, one of those kids that was on that team, you met him in Iowa, and now he's a volleyball coach for a team, for a school. And you know what he does every year? He's after the transformational stuff. Why? Leadership is not just taught; it's also caught. So anyway, like, can from a coach standpoint, and you know, when you're working on development of anybody, can you have a long-term vision and see where's the trajectory of that kid's life? And you have a very intentional role how you can really help set help them, I guess, prepare for greatness of whatever they're pursuing. I think oftentimes we take it for granted, the power that we actually wield as a coach and as a leader.
Yeah. I know that I see it a lot now. I deal with high school boys and girls, and you know, they come in with boyfriend and girlfriend. It's like the old school movie Dynasty or something. It's like just it's ridiculous. Naomi, you have no clue what Dynasty is.
No, that's not it's an
old soap opera, like Days of Our Lives or something. But you know, so I hear a lot of things, and like sometimes, and this is for especially coaches and parents, but like sometimes as a coach, you're the only positive thing that they have that day. And so even when maybe you're, you know, there are some days I'm like, okay, we're going to have a feel good day today. it's still not going to be just you go feel good. The feel good day is I'm probably not going to bark at you too much. We're just going to be aggressive with some things. But a lot of times you're that last resort sometimes that might keep that kid from doing something ridiculous. Like I've had some kids over the past couple of years that have tried to do some harm to themselves over some things that they just didn't understand at that age and they couldn't get it. And they can't talk to their parents. There's no dialogue. Or the parents could be the problem.
Right.
You know, and that I've had that in one of my situations where the parent was the problem and some things that had happened, you know, with the mom and the dad. And it's like, you know, he just comes to me to come talk. You know, sometimes he might sit there for 15 minutes. So, you know, sometimes being a coach, you're still a parent. You could be a brother, you could be a cousin, you could be a friend, you could be a psychologist, psychiatrist. Just could be just an ear to listen to. So I think we got to be, you know, conscious of their kids, and we used to be there. So I try to also coach from the perspective, okay, well, that kid's 12 years old. What do I need at 12 years old that day?
Right.
No, and I try to do that a little bit.
Right. I think I was at a coaching convention maybe back in 2017, maybe.
Why do I
and
not go to coaching conventions?
it was what is it? The National NFCA convention.
I need to start going to coaching conventions.
And Mike Candrea, who was a legendary coach at the University of Arizona, won national championships, all those good things. The one thing that stuck with me and is so true is he said, you know, the players will never play for you until they know that they can trust you. Like you have to care about the person first in order to have them become a better athlete. And I mean, that couldn't be more true. And I called Trevor the other day and we had an athlete come in and I'm a softball player. No, you're not. You're more than that. You know, she just needed to hear that she's more than that. And she's like, well, what if I'm bad? Well, I'm still going to love you even if you are bad. Like, and that's okay. And so it's those athletes that are just like, we put all our self-worth in this, and there's so much more than them. There's so much more than, you know, a softball player, a hitter, a fielder, whatever. And yeah, just to have somebody know that they care is probably, you know, beyond measurable for them.
Yeah. I kind of want to switch gears for a second. Like you brought up something earlier about feeling good, taking it easy, things like that. This is for both of you guys, and I did a video on this last week, I think. I feel like we've gotten away from practice being a competition or difficult, or I would say mimicking what we're going to feel in the game. You mentioned competition. I think that's where, when I've coached, me and other Coach Scott, that's the one thing that we do very well is like almost every single practice, we try to create an element of pressure. It could be, you know, a lot of times we'll line up all the infielders on, you know, we put all the players in infield, just crush ground balls at them. And once you miss, you get knocked out.
Yep.
And what happens normally is the kid that is the worst usually ends up winning because he gets tired of getting beat. And he wears it and takes it and things like that. But I think I see a lot of coaches like, man, this kid won't do this. The game, you know, he did great in practice. Well, but you're not creating an element that mimics what they're going to be a part of. It could be, you can easily mimic a guy at second and third, nobody out, and make whatever the punishment be something. It could be you have to go run or whatever, you lose, whatever, you get kicked out of the game, whatever it is. But I think everybody wants to be super coach and try to run these extravagant practices versus just truly get kids ready to go play games.
Right.
Like Deion Sanders said it a long time ago. He was like, he makes his best plays in practice because he makes practice difficult. And I'm like, I know that in pro ball, I didn't do college, but we create those scenarios. We practice every scenario, at least back then, I don't know what they do now. But we practice every scenario so that when we do get in the game, it's not foreign. It's not, I don't know how to do this. So how important is that to you, though?
I almost think that you have to create practice to be harder than a game, because I don't want you to go up against something that you've never faced before. Yes, we have machines that throw crazy pitches that you'll probably never see. But if you can touch that, you'll be just fine. We create competitions of, if you swing at bad pitches, maybe there's no physical punishment, but you lose that round of hitting because you only get one chance in a game. The other day we had our infield session and I was getting tired because we played knockout on the infield. I was smoking balls at them and I was sweating. I said, I cannot be doing this. So I had to hand it over to my assistant. I said, you got to knock them out. Calm down. There was 4 left. I said, go get them. I am tired.
Yeah. Go ahead, Trevor.
So Dave Mitchell on our team, he storied career 20 years of U.S. Navy Special Warfare, and different things that I've worked with military and special warfare groups. Exactly what you guys are talking about. Their motto, their ethos, and he'd back this up fully. Is we can't be, when we're on a mission, we're on an operation. We can't be rising to the occasion. We've got to be prepared, and we have to be trained at the highest degree of what we're going to experience. So the saying that they have is we fall back, or we don't rise to the occasion, we fall back on our training. Everything that they've done has been harder in training than the missions. The operations should be easy. It should be simple. Simple. It should be muscle memory ingrained, so that way when something happens downrange, we know exactly what to do. There's no thinking involved because we've dealt with the stress, we've dealt with the pressure, we've dealt with how to adjust and adapt in real time. So the special warfare groups that I've worked with in the past, and this wasn't Navy, but they did this saying privately. They said, we don't want heroes in combat. And the reason why is because if you're being a hero, you're doing something outside of what you've trained to do. We don't want that. I.e., don't try and go get medals in combat because typically bad stuff happens there. We want you to do your job and to do it exceptionally. We want you to come home. That's the unspoken things that they, don't say. So the concept sometimes with athletes is like, okay, pressure's on, game's on the line. Man, I really have to step up there. I really have to do something. No. What have you trained to do? You trained to step up, see the ball, timing, hit the ball, let it happen. and that goes obviously baseball, softball, but this goes with any sport. So when we're training, does it correspond with the stress, the pressure that we're going to experience? Because it should be difficult in practice. So that when game day comes, it's a walk in the park. It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
So Trevor, we have the opportunity in a few weeks to go help people do this. We get to go see Miss Naomi and see a bunch of athletes and hopefully train with our stress initiative. How about you tell our viewers and future viewers about the stress initiative and what to expect?
Well, here's the short version. Let me just start with this. The stress initiative has had multiple evolutions to it. It started with working with U.S. Army Special Forces out in Fort Bragg years and years and years ago. And now what we've done is we've brought it all the way down to the civilian level, to the athlete level, where our intention is to put athletes under stress and pressure, both physically and cognitively, and then teach them how to dominate in real time. We teach a couple mental skills, how to help them regulate, how to help them be better. It could be, self-talk. It could be visualization. It could be breathing. Some of these different skills that when you implement them in real time, you see a real difference. And where this really comes full circle, Cory, is like, there's too many of us in sports psychology telling people what to do from a lecture standpoint and from a motivational speech standpoint. So as a leader of our, operation and seeing where, our industry is going, I'm tired of it. We have to be intentional and let's show people how they can improve. Let's quit talking to them. Let's show them. So this is immersion training. We're going to put you in the fire. We're going to teach you how to be better. We're going to run it back and we're going to watch you improve. And we're going to let those light bulbs happen when they happen.
You call it the gateway drug to mental coaching.
Man, that's like the easiest thing that people can wrap their head around. And the reason is this is like, instead of me just telling people like, hey, how about you just come do it, come try it and experience it. When you experience it, that light bulb clicks. It's like, oh, wow. I see the difference. I feel the difference. We were talking about feeling a while ago. I feel the difference, but now I know exactly what to do. So the stress initiative is really part one of everything that we're trying to do with young athletes, college athletes, pro athletes. But the reinforcement machine behind it is the app. Because otherwise, we'd come into a school like Northwest Missouri State, we do the event, and it's like, high five, God bless, see you guys later, or maybe not. Well, the app serves as the reinforcement machine to help athletes understand. Okay, reinforcement is absolutely critical and necessary. And the example I used with the softball group a couple weeks ago when I was up there, I asked them. I said, if I go up to the strength and conditioning coach to tell him I want to look jacked like Schwarzenegger, is that going to happen on day one? They go, no. And I go, well, why not? Well, and they go, well, you have to work at it. I'm like, well, how much? I go, if I do it for a month, I do bicep curls, tries, I do delts, am I going to look jacked? And they go, well, no. I go, how about a year? And they said, well, yeah, maybe. I'm like, yeah. Well, guess what? What happens when I stop? Muscles that you're not exercising, they deteriorate, right? And the similar concept goes with the mental game. If you're not reinforcing it daily, if you're not reinforcing it consistently, you're leaving a lot to chance. And this is the kind of like, in my perspective, it's kind of like the Wild West frontier right now for training. Everybody's looking for biohacks and ways to get better. So many people are still neglecting the mindset. And it blows my mind. Yet when we look at the Dodgers and we look at the Blue Jays last night, they go extra innings. That was very mental. Mm-hmm. Very mental. And yet all we're expecting athletes to do is stay calm, stay confident under pressure. And the stress initiative does that in real time. It puts athletes in that element of stress, pressure, similar to what you'd experience on game day, match day, and teaches you how to be better.
I've been fortunate enough to be a part of it and see it live. I know that now, having been out of the game for a while, and I get texts or DMs or conversations with guys that I play with and against, and that's the one thing that we do talk about a lot. And especially I did even the podcast with Chip, we talked about the mental part, but we all missed out on that part of the game. It was almost relying on our physical ability, and if we figure it out, we figure it out. We don't. And I know for a fact, like for me and a lot of my friends, we could have used better mentors. We could have used how to think these situations, how to put certain things in perspective, how to deal with the ups and downs outside of baseball, and, how to slow the game down. Because the guys that play, I played a long time, but guys that do play a long time, that's the reason why. You learn how to laugh at yourself a little bit. You learn how to slow the game down. You learn how to control yourself in rapid heart beating situations. And with the stress initiative, having taken the data from what we've done over the past months now, and seeing how guys have done better from the first session to the second. So we do 2 sessions. We take an hour break. We break down some of the data. Then we go in and talk to the players and basically show them where they failed, teach them how to succeed better. And the next time around, that next 45 minutes or whatever, they usually dominate it. And so for me, as an ex-player and guy that deals with players, I really hope that all of you guys get, somehow, some way be a part of this at some point. But it really and truthfully does mimic the situations you need to mimic, maybe even probably more than the sport you're playing. It does mimic the cognitive part of it, probably more than the sport that you're playing. But we do a really good job of helping you guys to perform better in whatever sport you're playing under pressure, even without pressure. Just even learning how to breathe, slow down, slow the game down, think before you have a plan. I think sometimes we go into games with no plan. We just go there and play. Like I just want to hit the ball. Okay, great, you did. Foul, nice. Or you rolled over, you hit the ball. Thanks, man. You put the ball on the ball, awesome. But so, and I mean, for me in sports in general, even if it's a bad plan, it's better than having no plan at all. But definitely looking forward to that. When is it, Trevor, again? November what?
Ask Coach Naomi.
22nd.
22nd.
November 22nd.
November 22nd.
When is Thanksgiving?
not till the 20.
Yeah, it's the following week.
It's that week.
Good. I'm gonna miss my turkey.
Corey, I think we have a question that came in here.
Oh,
I'm scared.
how can you balance constructive criticism without being too harsh on your athletes? We don't. You just be harsh. No. How can you balance constructive criticism without being too harsh on your athletes? I'll let Naomi take that one first, and then you, Trevor, and I'll see what I got. You got
I think the first thing is you have to be honest with them. I think that is be honest and follow it up with, this is how we then can fix it. You know, we don't continue to tear them down. Just tell them the blatant truth. You're bad. And here's how we can get better, and build them up in that sense, and let them know that you are going to be there every step of the way with them, and you will do whatever it takes to help them. But if you sugarcoat it and you try to beat around the bush and you're not straightforward, it's not going to go well. They're never going to get better. They're never going to understand how to get better.
True.
I think the best answer I have that I think prefaces this is, do they trust you?
That was where I was going. Yeah.
See, what you can do is you really prioritize and develop the trust, and have you earned their trust? And then if you've earned their trust, you can be very blunt, very direct, and very, truthful, because if that trust level is there and established, then what better form of, love is telling the truth to your friend, telling the truth to somebody that you coach, even though it may be harsh, even though it may be firm. Really good example of a good friend example here recently. I was traveling not long ago, and one of the friends that I visited, he shared with me one of his really good friends down in Florida, and he hadn't seen him in about a year and a half. And they played college ball with each other, saw him in person. And he says, "Hey, I care about you, right?" And the guy goes, "Yeah, why?" And he goes, "You've put on a lot of weight." And the guy goes, and he holds his head. He goes, "Yeah, I know." And he goes, No. Like, I'm worried about you. I'm scared for you.
Yeah.
He goes, "I love you. How can I help?" And he goes, "I'm not saying this is a knock against, to knock you down, but like, I'm worried about you. How can I help?" So anyway, the two of them went and got connected with F45, a workout facility, and they're both, former college athletes. Went and did a couple workouts with him, got him connected with people, got him started on the path. He saw him about 6 months after that, and the guy dropped over 40 pounds, blood pressure back, cholesterol levels better. And then when he saw him 4 months later, the guy says to him, he's like, "Buddy, listen, of all the people that's in my life, not one person had the guts and, paraphrase, the balls to come to me and say, I'm worried about you, even though I could see myself in front of the mirror. I knew it was bad, but thank you." So that started with trust.
That was where I was going to go first. I'm like, it's very tough to help anybody that either doesn't have respect for you or looks at you with trust. And so, when you're trying to criticize somebody to be better, it's very tough when they don't really care what you're saying in the first place. And being truthful is the best. I mean, they know you have your best interest in mind. That tends to help. Going kind of off what Trevor had said too, is that we also have to be very good and or better about the people that we actually allow in our circle. Mm-hmm. So a lot of you, especially younger guys that are listening and think or will listen to this too. Again, I say it all the time. A lot of us tend to want to hang out with people that always tell us that we're cool, or we're pretty, or we're not what the reality is. And I don't really and truthfully want to be around people that will let me be mediocre without saying something. Sometimes we fail at stuff, things happen, bad things happen. But, I respect a person that's like, "You know what, Corey, this ain't it today." Or like, and again, for me, it's tough. I'm visually, you can see I'm not the smallest guy. And so people are like, but I've had a select few of like, "You know what, man, I don't want to hear that crap today." And I'm in my mind, I'm like, "I have to knock this dude out." But I know, but he's right. Like I had a dude make me one day come. I came in my locker and I was complaining about stuff, whatever. It was terrible. And he looks at me and he goes, Cory, just go back outside and try the shit again. And I was like, what? He goes, you're being negative right now. He goes, I don't want to hear it. We're lockers. You're my boy and all. He goes, here's what we're going to do. You're going to go outside and we're going to try this again. Adam Heather, I know you're going to hear this, so thank you. But he goes, no, you're going to go back outside. But we're not cool anymore. And I was like, I kind of like this guy.
Yeah.
And he's calling me out. So I did. I went back outside, came back in. I was like, hey, Adam, how's it going? He's like, oh, great, man. You ready to hit today? Let's go to the stage. And, but we don't have enough of that. We have, misery love company, or I'm not going to say it. I'm going to talk behind your back and, be your friend. It's too many people that let each other do mediocre stuff just because they want to keep friendships. Sometimes you got to get people out of your life sometimes that are definitely holding you back, respectfully. We have another question.
Yeah, we got another one in.
How do you spot the leaders on your team? How do you encourage your guys or girls to take the initiative to actually lead each other instead of relying on the outside direction for anything? Ooh, man. When I come from a pro ball background myself, so we're all kind of grown men. So when something kind of goes wrong, we're kind of it's very rarely the manager that comes out and says things unless things are just going really bad. That's why you see in pro ball sometimes people fight. There's sometimes could be screaming and yelling, but I think most people become the leader because they do lead by example and their work ethic. We're all very aware of who the best person on the team is, who works the hardest, who's the smartest, whose parents got the most money, who does it. We're very aware of people, whether we deny it or not, but it's the person that normally kind of has their crap together all the time. And that usually is kind of the leader. And I try to encourage my people to keep everything in house and handle things in house, unless there's something that needs my attention. I'm like, if you see little Johnny over there slacking off, hey man, go take him to the side and just say, hey man, we got to win this game. I kind of give them scenarios on how to handle that, but I don't want you coming to me with everything. I try to, when I was coaching, we try to, have a culture on the team similar to pro ball where there is that dialogue between players, and I want guys to hold each other accountable respectfully. And that's the biggest word I use is respectfully with them.
Right. Do you think that your leaders have to be the hardest worker? Can you have a good leader on the team without them being the hardest worker?
Yes, because this is from my experience. A lot of times the leader on the team, more times than not, was the oldest player.
Okay.
And so you respected them because you've known what they have done. So it's still by reputation. They come in a lot of times with no nonsense. They're vocal. They're always in the game. They know a lot. A lot of times you lead just by intelligence. And like most team leaders, a lot of times can be catchers because they're always kind of watching the game. But I remember my first time in Double-A, it was Mike Horn, and Mike was like Crash Davis from was that Major League or something like that, whatever. He had played. I think he had a little bit of big league time, been in AAA. He was the old guy on the team. He had a couple years left, but he's seen a lot. He's seen everything. So when he said something, you're like, oh, Mike said it, okay. So he led because he had the most experience, but you also know he cared because, I remember one time running after a ball and it got by me, and I didn't jog at it, but it didn't look good. And he didn't let me make it. Like, I was a young guy, big prospect. I was like 20 years old. And he just, kind of grabbed me. I was like, hey man, that's not what we do here. He goes, I don't care what the manager says. He goes, I'll lose my job right now and I'll jack you up because you're doing that. And I was like, I can get mad or I can say, okay, because I have to go through that. For me, I'm like, do I get mad at this dude? And I'm like, you know what? I am wrong. Okay. And once I'm like, I'm wrong. But yeah, I think there's different variables of being a leader. But a lot of times it does, like that girl when we were in Iowa, she was the older. I think she was the mama bear of the team, and I think that's his reputation.
This actually brings up that question brings up a really good point. Let me bring up a graphic here. um, this is part of the reason why we are doing the stress initiative and why we put such a awesome emphasis behind it is, the question again, just as a, frame it up, is like, how do you spot the leaders on the team? How do you encourage guys, girls to take initiative? So this really, there's 2 or 3 here that really hit on it. And this is just a good reminder. I had to fish it down real fast, but leadership, number 2, leadership and communication break down when things get tough. That's pretty darn important. And then number 3, coaches truly can't see leadership until that pressure actually happens. And I mean, this, the stress initiative overall, it does so many things well. It also reveals problems and challenges before they've even happened. So it's like, we don't have to wait until we're, midway through the season. We can reveal that instantly. And then we can work on how to develop those leaders throughout the rest of the year. We can continuously put them in stressful and pressure moments, but now as a coach, you know what to look for, and you know who and how to encourage. So for example, you could have that person that's the mama bear of the team, or the, the older veteran on the team, and they are expected to be a leader, but yet their communication style, just everybody revolts against it. So as a coach, now that. Now you can be intentional to work with them and like, hey, listen, everybody looks up to you until you open your mouth. Like I've worked with some teams on that before, where it's like, everybody likes you until you start getting after people. It's like, hey, talk a little softer to them, like give them some hope, give them some love, give them some encouragement here. So anyway, the stress initiative brings up so many different valuable points of why coaches should bring athletes there, why teams should come. These are just a handful of the reasons.
I think you did that number 3. That is 100% correct, man. Because I've seen a lot of sports, not just baseball, but a lot of leaders reveal themselves when it's a tough game, you're getting beat or something, and you guys come back, and it's that guy that's kept you guys in the game. He might not even be playing, but he's that guy that's been on everybody the whole game, rooting guys on in the game. And that is true. I was just, when you were saying that, I was thinking, I was like, man, I remember, being in a situation where we had a team that we were in the playoffs, and, and you had guys step up as teammates. And you're also correct about the veteran guy. There's also those guys that you're like, I don't like this guy because he's a bitter old dude.
Yeah.
He's a bitter old guy because he should be in the big leagues. He should be doing this. He should be doing that. So I don't know. I mean, as a coach, I think that, I love giving the players free rein to kind of micro coach, I would say, because I want guys to be good teammates, like especially some of the better players. Like, hey, man, like, what you're doing here. There's nothing wrong with walking up to, let's use little Johnny's been struggling all day. Let's walk to little Johnny. Yeah, he's getting beat up all day. But go to little Johnny and say, hey, man, get your head up, maybe think about this, do some of the things that work for you. The game has gotten, sports has gotten way too individualized, I think, too. The one complaint I hear a lot now is there's a lot of shit talking. Like, they're not friendly. Like, I love the back and forth banter of players sometimes, but it's gotten to where I think a lot of it's just jealousy. It's just really catty, and I think that usually comes from the rides home, and because little Johnny didn't play. Little Johnny, I gotta leave little Johnny. Little Timmy, let's go Timmy. But little Timmy's parents are bagging on little Johnny's parents and Mike over there, and so now you hear the parents talking, so now you become that, and so now you're repeating things that you've heard at home, because the parents are talking about versus, come here, go do it in your room if you got to go do it. But you're watching your parents talk about their friends on the team, and then when they see their friends, they're all cool with them. It's kind of weird, but I don't know. I enjoy watching kids police their own team.
Yeah. Well, I think some of the best teams are the ones that are self-functioning, and, they can lead each other and hold each other accountable, which isn't easy. Leaders at times are not liked. But at the same time, if you're willing to put your neck out there and speak up, they will respect you. And, right now, I think in college athletics in general, yes, it's so individualized of how can I succeed? How can I do this? And I've always told our leaders, like, it doesn't have to be you being really vocal at practice. You can see somebody struggling, say, hey, can you come hit with me, please? I need somebody to toss to me. Well, that person's probably going to eventually hit, because they're not just going to go to toss. They'll eventually work their way into hitting at some point in time.
I think you're right. Yeah, that's how, I mean, and again, like, that's what I saw coming up with the older players, is like, they'll take some of the younger players, like, hey, just come with me over here, and they'll coach you into working with them. Or, they see something with you. They might not want to immediately just say, hey, Cory, you suck. You look like little Johnny over there. But they, little Johnny's bad. But they'll convince you to come in, like, hey, I need you to come do this with me. Yeah, I think, you're 100% correct.
Like, just bring them along with you, and from a team perspective, you're only as strong as your weakest link. And I don't want to say they're weak, but if your work ethic and your mentality is not matching up with everybody else's, then what are we doing?
But that also goes back to what we talked about with having those goals as a team. So if you can always revert, if you go into the locker room or something, or wherever you play at, or even like in the dugout, and you see what, like, you have the sexy chart, or you have the positive bats chart, or whatever it is you have, well, that's a great reference point to bring somebody and say, hey, this is what we're doing today. This is what we got to get to. We got to get to this, and this, versus it's just like, we got to go win, or do it for the team, or do it for the name on the back of your jersey, the front of your jersey. That tends to help a lot, because it is something that now you all have that in common that you're working for, versus just being that team. You may not like the coach that day. Like, that coach, again, every coach doesn't demand respect. So, like, it's tough to play a season, especially, again, you're in pro ball, it's like 142 to 162 games. It's very tough to play a season under a coach that you just don't like, and nobody else likes them. And I've done it. I've played with Jeff Treadway, and I hope you hear this, but I've had players fight the guy, and I'm sitting over in the back like, God, he got his ass kicked again. Like, how does he keep? It was awesome. Like, and he had his own issues off the field. So, like, I hate to say that, but it was a tough year, because we had a great team full of players that didn't want to play, and we just wanted to get the season over with. So we made the playoffs, and, like, we magically got picked off of first base, magically ran into outs and things like that, because we were just ready to go home. And it's a miserable time. But we kept it together, because we also had that same goal of, we don't like this coach, but we're going to make this work until we figure it out.
Right.
Yeah. You guys good?
We're good. So,
think so? Go ahead.
So I do want to just highlight something pretty cool. So we met Coach Naomi because of one of the assistant coaches that I had at my university. Now he's the coach of this school in Iowa, where we did an event back in August. And that's how we linked up, cross paths. And I want to just highlight one of the goals that we have with Hearts and Minds, and where we're going trajectory wise, because I think it's pretty special. In the next 2-3 years, we're intentionally targeting and going after Division II schools, Division III schools, NAIA schools, and junior college schools, to provide mental training for them, with them, and being able to bring mental training to athletes at the lower levels. Part of the reason why, I'm kind of selfish, but I was a D2 athlete. That's part of the reason why. The other reason why is oftentimes the lower level athletes, they're not getting the help and the support that they need. And furthermore, I care a lot about it's cool working on performance. I get that, but I'm over that. Like, that was earlier in my career. I care a lot more about who you're becoming. And I'm watching several of these athletes that I work with in the first 5 years of my career. Now they're professionals in different areas in banking and industries, and a couple doctors and a couple of attorneys. And I see them, and I do the best I can to make points of contact and reach to them. but it's like I watch their lives, and their lives have meaning, tremendous meaning. And oftentimes, these lower level athletics, they don't get the love and the support that the higher top tier Division I schools do. And we're trying to pave a path forward with mental training, trying to make it affordable and accessible to anybody in the country. And Northwest Missouri State, they've got a handful of programs that we're going to be working with closely. And we're going to be testing this and developing a couple case studies with them, proving the effectiveness that we can do it and we can make it happen. And we've got a couple other universities lined up to run through as well in these case studies. But this is one of those early feathers in the hat that I really want to I want to show that we can move the needle on performance and we can reach these athletes affordably and accessibly. And this is attempt as well as like, I'm just so gracious that, Coach Naomi is switched on, as she has the belief that she wants to move the needle, helping her young ladies become amazing young women. Like, softball's cool, high five, but she said it in the very opening too. She cares about who they're becoming. And that's really at the heart of everything that we do.
That's my biggest, like I said earlier, like, I love you guys doing this for sports performance and being better at sports. It goes fast. Like, you're not, and you're not going to always be a softball player, football player, baseball player. How can you compete when you take the uniform off? Because that's when it matters. A lot of us struggle with taking the uniform off and identity and things like that. All these things that we do here at the Stretch Initiative and Hearts and Minds are things that will help your player, as your parents, your kid, to be able to see. And hopefully your goal as a parent is to have your kid be better than you. I hope my kids are way more awesome than me. Doing okay so far, 2 for 3. We're working on number 3, but he's killing it right now. But I want my kids to be better than me. I want them to not deal with maybe some of the mental things that I had to deal with, maybe doubt or confidence or not trusting. What would you call me, Trevor? Imposter syndrome?
Yep.
Thanks, bro. But
that's a whole nother conversation.
But I'm just saying, like, it's way more than just sports, because that's just a small blip on your life,
Right.
But you're going to always be competing when you go get that job. It's, how do you handle that boss? Can you even look that boss in the eye? Can you shake their hand? Can you slow the interview down? Just regular people in life in general. Like, it's way more important than just sports.
Yeah.
One of the questions I have for Coach Naomi is this: is like, when you first heard about us and what we're doing and what we're trying to bring, what excited you the most to want to bring that to your team and your culture and your program?
I think the biggest thing is just having a solid foundation. Honestly, the app to me was the first thing that kind of drew me, because it's something daily that we can do. It's something that they can always revert back to, find some comfort in it. Be in contact with you guys, somebody other than myself. Not that I don't love them and want to hear from them, but sometimes I just may not be able to help in the capacity that you guys might be able to. Having that there, and then realizing, okay, that's just a piece of everything else that you can do. Understanding that we, can create competition at practice and stuff, but you guys do it on a whole nother volume, like on a whole nother level, and can see what their reaction is going to be. But the first thing was really just the app and creating that connection with them daily. And we do it every day at practice now. It's the first 5 minutes of our practice. It's the first 5 minutes of our hitting session. I've sent Trevor pictures. We lay on bases. We lay down in the dugout. We're on the turf. We're somewhere to get our minds right in those first 5 minutes. And, we're learning to compartmentalize what is happening. We don't bring our day into practice. We spend those 5 minutes doing what we need to do, and then we go attack it. And then we can deal with the day after the fact, and that is important. But that's kind of been our routine for maybe the past 3 to 4 weeks now. And I mean, for us as coaches, we've seen just them show up in a different way. They wait till practice time because they want to do their 5 minutes ahead of time. And I said, no, you can't do it. Just wait. We'll do it as a team. We'll figure it out. But they want to do it first thing in the morning, which is great. But just for our routine and our sense of how we're using it, it's the 5 minutes, of practice every day.
That's amazing. And for those that are watching may not know, when we work with a university and a sports team like this, they have live DM access to us whenever they want. So you guys just got activated here this past week. Girls have already been DMing. I'm in the DMs responding to them, DM direct message. So athletes at a Division II level who formerly never had any access to mental training at all, now they're one direct message away, and we're getting back to them in real time. What's that do? Just help viewers that, they're new to this concept. What does that do for you from a recruiting landscape and a program stance?
Well, it helps us, the well-rounded athlete, right? Like, we're attacking everything. In terms of recruiting, I just, again, was out in Kansas City all weekend recruiting some of my incoming 26 classes. And I said, hey, this is what's happening. And we're trying to work with one of their programs to also get into their facility. And they're through the roof. They're excited. And they said, show me the app. When can I start? Now. Wow. But just to provide that resource for them more than anything else, and have it directly available daily for them. And I'm sure Trevor's gotten everything under the sun, from a hello to a picture to whatever's happening in the DMs, but they like to be silly and goofy in there too. But just to have somebody else also in their corner that cares. That's just another person that cares for them.
Yeah.
When you recruit, what do you, I know you look for, I want to get a softball player. What else do you look for?
Energy. I like a lot of energy. I need attitude, energy. I need somebody that I know can come into this program and fit right in. I don't need you to be something that you're not. I always tell them, like, you're going to get the most authentic version of me. And I want you to feel like you can be your most authentic version of yourself. And to me, the recruiting process is it's like dating. You're trying to learn all about that person, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I'm not somebody that moves very quickly in that process, because I want to see, okay, no, that's a red flag. That's a red flag. That's a red flag. Or this is going really well. And I can see this person fitting in with our program.
Dating, huh? Never heard it like that.
Well, it is, because you're going to be stuck together for the next 4 years.
Yeah, that's true.
Hopefully, fingers crossed,
Yeah,
if I don't like you, it's not going to happen.
That is true. That's the first I've ever heard that, though.
So I've got one last question for you. We've done a lot of marketing and making phone calls and talking to different high schools in the area of, where Northwest is. A lot of clubs, organizations. What message would you have for any of these clubs, organizations, athletic directors, coaches, booster club, parents? What message would you have for them about what's coming November 22nd? And then why should they, really just A, come, and then B, what are we trying to do? I want you to try and put it in your own words. I loved what you just shared.
I think the biggest thing is, we've said it from the start, we're going to put all this time and money into a swing coach, a pitching coach, whatever. Invest in the mental side of it. If you're willing to spend hundreds of dollars, on that, why are you not willing to spend money on training your brain? Probably the most powerful tool that we have. There's nothing to lose. In my opinion, there's everything to gain. And if you're not willing to take the chance, then I'm going to question you a little bit. And it's not, like we've said, it's not just about sports. It's how are we training our mind and creating habits that we can take into the real world after all of this is done. It's only going to last for a short amount of time. But how can we learn that, and go through a little bit of toughness that day to then, okay, I can apply this outside of it. I have a resource in the app. I have something that I can go to instill that in my brain every single day.
Yeah. In tickets right now, $100, but we got to get them quickly, because the price is going to go up for early administration, early ticket fees. So the event is 5 hours worth mental training, 5 hours, $100. Like, what's that? I don't know. I'm scared to even ask what a swing coach, hitting coach, pitching coach, all these other things cost. I'm scared to ask. I know where they are down here
and who you are.
Yeah,
But the problem
I'm
is
scared.
that, like, they're gonna, I guarantee you there's families that spend thousands of dollars on this per year.
Yeah.
So what's $100 in one day?
Well, this is kind of what Cory said earlier. It's the gateway drug, and it to mental training. This is the start because it's immersion. Yeah, like we throw you in the deep end, let you flounder, let you flop, let you swim to the side. We teach you how to swim really fast, and we teach you how to be really good. And it's amazing to watch those light bulbs happen. So, anyway, being selfish again, I'm so excited to be able to bring this back to like my old area of like, this is where I went to school.
Nice.
This is where my career started. So
You're gonna have to dress warm. It's gonna be cold.
Oh yeah. Cory, we're leaving Texas.
Yeah, it's gonna be cold, but I have faith.
The good thing is I just bought winter clothes a couple weeks ago for the 2 weeks of winter we're going to have here. And I love wearing winter clothes. So I got some really nice, cool winter clothes that I'm extremely excited to wear. Man.
Let's go.
There you go.
Download the app. You guys, download the app. I might even DM you back. I'm getting better at these things. But download the app. You know, it's 5 minutes of mental focus a day. Want to see you guys at the Stress Initiative. Anything else, Trev?
Yeah, the app, real fast. The app is the coolest thing that we've done as a team.
It's awesome.
For so many reasons. And the reason why is technology never sleeps. Mm-hmm. I literally got a message the other day from a kid who is competing over in Germany. And we weren't able to sync up due to the time zones. And I told him, I said, well, you have the app. Look this module up. He did. Instantly helped him. Got a DM back, said, man, that was exactly what I need. Thank you so much. He checked in later, won his tennis match that he was playing, professional match. And technology knows no bounds. When we first started, I didn't realize it, but we were picking up athletes from all over the globe. We had athletes in New Zealand. We had athletes in Australia. We had athletes in South Africa. We had athletes in Switzerland. We had athletes from all around the globe were finding us through either our emails, through social, through word of mouth. And one of the things that we really just planted our flag on is we wanted to make this thing affordable and accessible to anybody in the world. So it's $5 a month. So I don't know what your typical coffee order is. Skip one of those one day. Just skip it once.
Don't get these. Don't get candles from Bath and Body Works. Get the app.
Yeah, those are
the app. Let's go.
I know. Trust me. I wait till they buy one get one free. Get the app, not the candles.
Yeah.
And the black cherry Merlot is not the best, so don't get that anyway.
You know though, Cory, like I always used to feel bad about telling people to buy it because I'm like, oh man, I don't want to. No. It's like, no, I'm over that. Like, no,
$5.
I see what people spend their money on, man. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm cheap-ish, but I like buying things that I'll definitely will pay for to be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I'll pay to be awesome.
Yeah. No,
guys.
Thank you, though, Coach.
Yeah, Miss Tellez.
There you go.
Got it, man. Quesadillas. It was very nice to have you. So I'll be seeing you soon. Caffeine will be there.
Always.
Need caffeine, so just give me the heads up. That's my only necessity, and a heater. Trevor, as always, love you, big guy, and look forward to doing it again. And that's all I got, man.
Keep up the great work, Cory.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Coach. Good.